guys. So today we are going to talk about some creepy stuff. So I'm just gonna lead into this saying, if you're a non-believer in the paranormal, just click off now because clearly you and I are gonna disagree here. But I have seen and felt shit so many times over that cannot be explained away any other damn way that, sorry, I'm a very, very strong believer in that stuff. And this video isn't even covering all of the experiences I've had, just the ones that are relevant to this. So, just saying. So anyway, a few months ago, my cousin messages me out of the blue. And mind you, at this point, I had not heard from her in years. Like, literally years. And after my grandparents died, she lived in their house for a few years before moving, but... So, she messages me and she's like, so... This comes really out of left field, I know, but I just have to ask. All those times you stayed at the Grandma and Grandpa's house, did you ever, like, have any weird, unexplained, paranormal stuff go on? Or, like, feel like there were entities watching you there? I was like, no. Did you? And she's like, yeah, like, a lot. So she starts telling me about how pretty much the entire time she lived there, the entire, like, front end of the house, from the living room into the piano room, kitchen, all of it, but especially that front room, like, more so than anything that had, like, the big windowed wall. During the day, it was fine. But come nighttime, no matter what, didn't matter if all the lights were on, did not matter, but it always felt like she was being watched, and it always felt like there was an entity there that did not want her there. Now, that could be anxiety, that could be paranoia. Trust me, I know, I feel ya. But she said it was so bad to where it got to where if she had to go in that end of the house for anything at night, she would turn on every light in the house, go into the front room, state her intentions of why she was there, of how long she would be there, and then skedaddle back off to the other end of the house for the rest of the night and basically nope, out because it just felt too intensely strong. Okay, well, aware, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, that could be anxiety. I have anxiety, but I never felt anything weird like that with that room, and I basically lived at that house. So, not entirely sold on that. So, I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, there was, like, a couple times where it just, like, felt a little creepy because it was dark outside, because I'm scared of the dark, but that wasn't, like, an entity kind of thing. Like, that's different. She's like, no, not like that at all. So then she tells me about how she would have friends over to her house, and almost every single one of them that ever freaking came to the house all asked her if there was some kind of weird juju out in that front room. And they were all sold in separate from each other, did not know about each other, all asking about, did something happen in this room once upon a time? Because it feels like something doesn't want me to be here. Alright, now you're getting a little more interesting, but, like, my grandparents built that house, so it's not like this was a murder house or something. Like, no one died there before that. Well, my grandma ended up dying there, but that was, like, way later. No, that's not even the part of the house she died in, but, like, no. So, but that's, alright, you got me a little more intrigued now. Okay, well, I'll grant you the one thing I always found creepy with that house was just the hallway, but I feel like it was just because it was a very weirdly narrow hallway, and kind of gave, like, the Shining vibes. Like, I always expected to see, like, a pair of twins down at the end of that hallway asking, you want to play with us? But, like, that's just because it's a long, creepy-ass hallway, and there was no windows in it, therefore it was always dark unless you turn the lights on in there. So, okay, I'll grant you that that's creepy, but that's on the other side of the house. That's not in the front end. That's in the back end of the house. So, still not really following you here, but mind you, those who have watched all my Remembering Forgotten Memories videos and things, this is the house that I was convinced had secret passages in it and shit. It's that house. It's that set of grandparents, in case anyone was wondering. Yeah, it's that house. So anyway, I was just like, huh. That's really weird, but no, I never had a feeling like that the whole time I was there, and even after they died, I'd walked through that house several times over, like in between people that they'd rented it out to, like every time that they redid it, just to have like, I don't know, closure of walking through it, seeing the place again one more time each time, but nah, no weird juju or anything. The weirdness, like, the weirdest that I had was like right after my grandma died, about a month later, after my grandpa had his stroke and he was at the hospital and we had to go back to his house to get something for him. I had not been to that house between point A and point B at that point. And I walked in, and like my blood ran cold at like this one spot on the floor, like when we hit it. And no one had told me at this point. I did not know. I was like, quick question? Is this the spot Grandma died? They're like, yeah. I was like, are you fucking with me right now? Or are you actually being serious? Like, no, that's exactly where she died. Oh, God, I just instinctively felt that. What the fuck? So, I mean, okay, I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that. But, like, that still isn't explaining the other room. Like, okay. But anyway, so I'm thinking about this, and I'm like really trying to dig back in like my entire lifetime, whole time I was there. Did I have any weird feelings of anything? And I did remember one thing, but I don't feel like it was necessarily relevant to this necessarily. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know if it's the same thing they're talking about or not, but while I sat at the kitchen table one day, this is the weirdest thing, and you're gonna think I'm fucking insane, I am sure of it, but sitting at the kitchen table, my grandma's making food in the kitchen, blah 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 blah. Like any other day, after school, like, ain't no thing. All of a sudden there's just this dude right outside the window. Just like, very clearly not somebody that walked up off the street, but like fucking Victorian era stuff. Top hat, real creepy looking, real menacing looking, just staring at me. And like my breath caught in my throat. I couldn't speak. I couldn't scream. I just like so freaked out. And by the time I could finally talk and say something to my grandma, there's nothing there. So I tell her about it, and she just chalks it up to, oh, you just have a really active imagination, which, I mean, okay, fair. This coming from a little kid, maybe 6 years old, totally fair on her side to say that. Completely otherwise forgot about it for a few years. And this is going to be relevant. I swear it's all going to tie back. One of the summers that we stayed there to house sit while my grandparents were in Vermont. We did this several times over, but like 1996. I slept in the bedroom that used to be my dad's bedroom. My siblings slept on the fold-out couch bed. I got an actual room because I'm the eldest. Hell yeah. But anyways, so for the most part, not an issue, although I felt creepy vibes in there because I wasn't used to sleeping with the lights off, and I wasn't used to hearing, like, traffic sounds on the street because our house is so far removed from anything that, like, yeah, we don't get anything like that. We are nowhere near the street. We're, like, a mile away from a street. So I was not accustomed to that. It was very creepy. I had spent the night at my other grandparents' house many, many times, and I had difficulty sleeping through traffic noises there too, but I didn't have the same creepy vibe that I did in that room. I don't know, it's hard to explain, and I don't know what it is. But the one and only instance I ever had in my life of sleep paralysis happened in that room. And I again saw the dude with the top hat. And I realize the irony that the internet has, like, made jokes out of the Hat Man. I'm like, fuck you, I've seen the Hat Man. But, like, so he's just, like, standing at the foot of the bed, arms crossed, again, staring, and I again couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't scream, nothing, was just trapped. I had never heard of sleep paralysis at that age. I didn't know what the hell that was, didn't know if I was asleep, didn't know if I was awake, but it scared the ever-loving shit out of me. And I tried to tamp that crap out of my mind for years and forget that that ever happened. But when she mentioned that she had the worst sleep paralysis of her life happen in that house over and over and over again, I was like, Oh shit. Okay, alright, I'll grant you. Oh, fine, alright. I experienced that. But mine was like an isolated incident. But hers was like frequent and constant. So that's all bad. But the room she slept in was my grandparents' old room, which is directly across the hall from the room I slept in, which was my dad's room. Don't know if that's relevant at all, but just for sake of trying to give a lay of the land here, there you go. But the creepiest part, I would insert the picture here, but I didn't ask permission from her, and in case she finds this, I don't want her to be mad at me for using her photo, so, yeah, anyway, but, so she shares this photo with me that she took while sitting on the bed in that room. It was just a picture of her cat being cute on the bed. Looks like a normal picture you would post on Instagram of your cat. And I think she did for a while, because I seem to remember seeing it, and, like, then it disappeared, and I didn't know what the hell was up with that, but didn't think too much of it at the time. So she's like, okay, so you see this picture of my cat, right? I was like, yeah. Now look in the reflection of the mirror under the bed. I'm like, okay. And, like, before I'd even zoomed in, I was already, like, getting creepy crawlies, like, something instinctively feels very wrong. And I zoom in. There's a face under the bed. Like, sideways face, and the eyes almost look glowing. I was like, what the fuck is that? She's like, I don't know, and I didn't notice that in that photo until about 6 months after I moved out of that house, so there's no way for me to go back and check what the hell that was. I'm like, okay, alright, you win, you fucking win, okay. It's like, there's no chance you had, like, a mask of any kind of there? No, I don't own a mask, and oh, okay, and there's, like, nothing that you would have had under there? It looks like this. She's like, I didn't keep anything under that bed. Fuck my life, I want to cry. Like, even just, like, talking about it, I have goosebumps now, because that picture freaks me out so bad. I sent that picture to my best friend, and she's, like, very well versed and very experienced in the paranormal. She's experienced even more than I have. Even she was scared shitless by that photo. She's like, what the fuck is that? I was like, yeah, you see my fucking point? You see my point. Okay, it's not just me. No, it's not just you. Okay. So we still don't know what the fuck that was. But, yeah, that. Okay, so maybe there is some kind of entity in that friggin' house, and I don't know what it is, or who it would be from, because apparently it was there before my grandparents even died, so I don't think it's one of them, although, incidentally, in that photo, that face under the bed, it's basically staring right at the spot where my grandma died, so, you know, there's that. Yeah, it's real fucking creepy. I do not like it. I do not like it one bit. Ugh, I hate it. So I'm mentioning all this to my dad, because I was like, okay, I need more input from more sources who have been in that house, who have maybe experienced some shit. I was not expecting the answer I got from him. So, when I was mentioning the Hat Man thing to him, he basically confirmed he has also seen that same exact entity, same description I gave in that house, also when he was a child. It gets worse. So, not even that many years before my grandparents died, they were digging through closets trying to find something. I don't remember what he said it was, but in digging through stuff, they kind of just had stuff, like, out all over the living room just to, like, put it somewhere while they were, like, looking for whatever the thing was. And there was this painting that they kind of set on, like, the fireplace. It's the dude. It's the fucking dude. Like, exactly like it. And, like, he was so freaked out he couldn't talk for a minute. And then was eventually to my grandma, who is that? Who is that in that painting? What painting? The one right there. And she totally played dumb, as if she didn't even see a painting. Yeah. And shortly after that, she has him go down to the barn and feed the horses. Comes back, there's no painting, and he never saw that painting again. She never admitted to even seeing a painting, and we figured after my grandparents died and they had to empty out that house that he would run across it again. it never resurfaced. What the fuck is that? Now, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just gets worse and worse. So I asked my mom if she ever experienced anything in that house. I didn't even mention the Hat Man to her. She brought it up. What the actual fuck is that? Like, it doesn't even make sense from a historical standpoint to me, because that house was built in the 1940s. Therefore, there would never have been a Victorian-era person living there, unless that entity was attached to some piece of furniture or something in that house, maybe. Because that could be, because there was definitely some Victorian furniture in the house. Which is now in this house, so fuck my life. But, yeah, goddamn. Anyway, that's a whole ass thing. That's a whole thing. She said she felt creepy vibes, like they didn't want her there, basically, every time we were there, and it's why she tried to find any excuse to have us go over to our other grandparents for, like, every holiday and everything. Cool! Cool! Love that for me. Cool. Yeah, could have said something at the time. She's like, yeah, well, I didn't want to scare you and have you not want to go over there anymore. I'm sorry, like, you feel like there's some kind of demonic entity tied to that house, and you're willingly letting your child go there, basically every single day, but you don't want to be there. Yeah, that checks out. She's like, I just chalked it up to the drugs at the time. I was like, okay, well, I might have to, like, discredit your theories a little now that you mentioned that part, but, like, I don't know, I'm, like, not 100%, but, bro, what the fuck? So, alright, that's just all kinds of do not want. Now, in this house, the only, like, really particularly weird juju shit we had happen here, and we built this house. We built this in about 2010, so again, no one had lived here prior to us. But I had always gotten really, really weird, scary vibes about the den, about my parents' bedroom, and about the basement. Basement makes sense. Basements are always scary. It's like an unwritten law of the universe, so okay, fine, whatever. The den makes no damn sense. It's literally the first room, like, offshoot to the right when you walk in the front door. Why would that be scary? I don't know. My parents' bedroom, okay, because of all the dark furniture in there and, like, the way that the windows are laid out in there, it's always kind of dark and a little bit creepy in there, so okay, fine. I'll grant you that one. That one's creepy. But what about the den? Why was the den always creepy? Guess what room my grandpa ended up dying in? Yup. And guess where that den is? Directly under where I sit right now. Like, that is, like, directly over the bed he died in. And I had a creepy instance involving that where I was telling this story on Instagram several years back, late at night. I don't know why. Somebody brought up, like, paranormal experiences, and I brought up all sorts of different ones, and how it feels really creepy talking about this exact thing in this exact spot, given that it's directly over the spot where my grandpa died. And in that exact moment, I swear if it happens again in this video, I will be so pissed and so done and never tell it again, but, like, that exact moment, in the chat, like, 3 different people, Jenn, orbs, and I was like, what orbs? I don't see any orbs. I'm looking at the viewfinder on here. I'm not seeing any orbs. Yeah, they screen capped that shit and sent it to me. And they did it so fast where there's no way they edited that. Like, 3 above the shoulder. And basically, no sooner was this acknowledged did I feel a tap, tap, clear as day, as if a person had physically been there. I jumped and screamed so bad I flipped this damn table, I ended the stream, and I went and slept in my mom's room that night. I was like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. So, you know, there's that, but I would still say that was the worst one that happened in this house. But a couple others, like, a few days before my grandpa died, like, on the Wednesday before, he died on a Sunday, but the Wednesday before, no, Thursday, because it was 3 days before, Thursday, I was getting ready to go out on a date. I was in my bathroom, getting ready, and out of nowhere, I smell my grandma's perfume, strong and clear as day. I don't own anything that smells like that, or even remotely close, nor does anyone in this house. Why did that pop up all of a sudden? I don't freaking know. But it's not lost on me. I mean, that bathroom is right in here. So basically, still, right above that room, it all kind of clicked after the fact, but like, that's kind of weird. So, okay, fine. I go out on my date. I come home. My dad's waiting at the door. And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm assuming the worst. I'm like, did something happen to Grandpa while I was gone? He's like, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh no. And he's like, weirdest thing ever. He went to bed, same as he does every night. The dog ran in there, like, not even 10 minutes later, starts barking and growling her head off. She's never done that the entire time he's lived here. Not once. As if something were in there. And I pulled her out and I closed the door. I don't know what the hell that was about. And I mentioned the thing with the perfume. I'm like, oh my God, do you think like maybe Grandma came through the ceiling, down to the floor, and is like kind of just in there, waiting for him? Given that he keeps claiming that he can hear her calling for him? I don't know. And then 3 days later, he's dead. It's like, oh, huh, cool. Love it for me. So there was that. And then 2 different instances after that. I witnessed one, my mom witnessed the other, both from about the same vantage point and in the same exact spot, downstairs. First time, she was out in the backyard. I was the only other one home at the time. But I was upstairs in here. And she like yelled, Jen, did you just walk across the kitchen? Like she yelled for me, like I came down and want to see what you want. And she asked me that. I was like, no, I've been upstairs. She's like, I just saw somebody walk across the kitchen. I knew it looked too tall to be you. Okay, so now we go like turn the whole house upside down, making sure there's not like an intruder or something. There's not. She said it was like a dark shadow figure. Oh boy, okay. And she like tells me the path it walked across. And I walk across it just like following that path, and it's ice cold in that path. Like so creepily cold. And it like stopped in a weird spot in the kitchen that when I thought about it, I was like, this is the exact spot Grandpa's air hose would run out where he couldn't, like, walk past because he didn't have any more hose. Holy shit. I think I might know who it is. Because this is only a few months after he died. And then, like, a month or so later, I saw it. In the same spot, in the same path. And I asked her, same thing, she was the only one home that day. And she was nowhere near the kitchen either. It was like, oh God. So, she and I both walked that path that time. We both felt the ice-cold path. Oh yeah, I'm getting heebie-jeebies. I'm gonna stop. So anyway, yeah, I've got all kinds of stories like this, guys, but just yeah, interesting, huh? But anyway, so I'm shifting this a little bit because my legs are going numb from kneeling on them this whole time. But anyway, so one more, and then I'll wrap this up because I've been talking for almost half an hour about creepy shit. But the most recent one in my uncle's house, my cousin's dad, that other things happened to. His house is right between my grandparents' house and our house, because it's a family estate. So, very recently, in his office, in his house, which, it's locked on either side. One side goes to the garage, one side goes to the house, but he keeps both of them locked, because he keeps valuables in there, so I mean, whatever. But, like, makes no sense. And he had photos to back this up. He heard, like, a crash happen in that office. So he unlocks the door, he goes in, and there's a broken picture frame on the floor. And it's a picture of he and one of his kids. And he's trying to figure out where it came from. He's looking at this photo, and he's like, I know, it goes up on the wall, but the spot where it goes on that wall, there was another photo hanging in that exact spot, upside down. Also him and same daughter, but like, that photo is from his daughter's bedroom. His daughter, who hasn't lived there in like 5 or 6 years, hasn't even been back to the house in that amount of time. Makes no sense. That room was locked on both sides. No one was in there. How the hell did not only the picture fall, I mean, okay, a picture frame could fall, but how did that picture get from there in there, on the wall, in its spot, upside down. What? And he had photos of everything? Like, what the shit? What the shit? I don't know. I have no explanation for it. None whatsoever. None of us can think of anything that makes any kind of sense. But anyway, so I'm mentioning this all to my best friend and everything, the one that's all well versed in the paranormal. She's like, you know, maybe, sorry, I'm playing with bubble wrap, but she's like, you know, one theory that I can come up with, maybe it's not so much the houses themselves, but it's the land you built them on. Because didn't that used to be Native American soil? And oh yeah, we were finding like tomahawks and like arrowheads and all sorts of shit in the dirt as we were building. Oh shit. Yeah, that. And maybe the reason you didn't feel any kind of weirdness while your grandparents are still around was maybe their spirits were offsetting and holding back whatever it was at bay that is there now. Like, maybe it was there first, and they kind of offset it, because they didn't believe in spirits whatsoever. Not one bit. So they were unaffected by anything like that, and I never felt anything like that in their presence. 100%. But, okay, if while they were gone, even like just across the country, say, in Vermont, the only flaw to this is the one time I had it happen at the table while my grandma was there. That's the only problem with this theory. But, like, the rest of them, they weren't there. Therefore, if they were the only things holding back whatever weird juju is there, and now they're gone, so now it's back, maybe my sister had the right idea moving the hell out of state, you know? Like, maybe. Just saying. But, it's an interesting theory. And outside of that, I got nothing. I have no idea. I'm open to thoughts and interpretations, but it's definitely fascinating. I will give you that. But oh, it's so creepy, and I wish those were the only instances, but there's so many more, but we would be here literally all day. So I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll do other videos sometime, but for this one, I think I'm just gonna wrap it up because I already feel exhausted just after all this. So, anyway, that is it, guys. So, as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more is all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, until next time.